battle this weekend for Blackburn Rovers. This time it is Luton Town on their own backyard. Of course, standing in the way is Nathan Jones and his shithousery. Can we get the better of him this time? We'll take a little look. Next! That's right, folks. Blackburn's giving another match preview. Looking forward to Blackburn Rovers' visit to Kenilworth Road. That's right, up against Luton Town. And we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe and get your bag up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, World Football related. We're going to all here, boys, in a bloody basement. It's freezing down here. I've got my hoodie on. I've got my Rovers shirt on. But I am looking forward to this weekend's action up against Luton Town at Kenilworth Road. Now, before we jump in the deep end, of course, big shout out to VIPs, of course. They're the Patreons. Your one-stop shop, though, for Championship football, Rovers football, World football. We've got it all here under one rooski. Now, of course, before we jump in the deep end, of course, I want to let you know that we will be doing a watch-along for this game, of course, at Kenilworth Road. It'll be live here. Of course, if you're wondering how I do that, it's because I'm based in the US of A. So let's get into the deep end then, shall we? Of course, look forward to this game at Luton Town. That's right. I used to live down that neck of the woods. When I say that, it was Middlesex, Hertfordshire, whatever you want to call it. I went to Luton Town, the airport anyway, many times, of course. So here we go then. Of course, take a look at Luton Town. They do play their games right here. Of course, Kenilworth Road, 10,356 fans in attendance on a good bloody day. Nathan Jones, the shithouse merchant. Now, we've got a shithouse merchant ourselves on the pitch, but of course, the shithouse merchant off the pitch will be Nathan Jones. Of course, he does all these kind of weird-ass tactics, of course, trying to ruffle the feathers of the gaffer, of the players, of the staff, the referees, all kinds of stuff. He is chief shithouse merchant, and he has had the better of us on a couple of occasions. He had a better of us this season, of course, at Ewood Park. We'll elaborate on that in a minute. Of course, Sonny Bradley is the Capitano, I believe. Is that still the case? Meanwhile, QPR is the nearest match for them. The most distance they'll have to travel will be, of course, Middlesbrough. 12th they were last time around. I did predict them to be 9th this season. They're on par for that right now. And, of course, 40-1 they were to go the distance at the start of the season. Let's take a look at the recent records then, shall we? Of course, this is the last 5 games for Luton Town. It ain't too shabby, especially when you look at the home matches. Of course, over the last 5, though, it's actually been pretty steady overall, winning 4 of the last 5. Their only defeat was against Sheffield United. That was, of course, back on the 22nd of Jan. Their home form, though, it looks pretty sexy, of course. 3 wins on the bounce. Bristol City, Bournemouth, and, of course, Harrogate Town in the FA Cup. They all count in the end. Of course, taking a look at the stats then. Adebayo is your main man with 12 goals so far. Corner's got 7. Berry's got 5. Jerome has 2. Lansbury, Naismith, Bree, Ria, your guys are more likely to pick up another card. Of course, Lansbury got 8. He is top bins right there. Burke, the only red card so far this season for Luton Town. Let's take a look at the starting lineup then for you. This is what I've gone with. I've got Shea starts between sticks. I don't know what's happened to Sluga. I think he's lost his spot now. Naismith, Bradley, Lockyer make it back 3. We've got Amari Bell, of course. He's his agent Bell, hopefully doing us a number tonight. Scoring OG, handball in the penalty box. I don't know. Do something, Amari Bell. Help us out in the end. And Panzu, Berry, and Bree on the right-hand side with Ray in midfield. It's probably not going to be exactly like that. We probably more have Panzu in Ree's slot there as more of the box-to-box kind of guy, with Rees sitting back with Berry as well. Berry, of course, getting amongst the goals recently. Adebayo leading the charge, of course, a lot of goals for him so far. Been good. A bit of good acquisition, of course. And Jerome, the veteran experience up there, of course, keeping them company up top. Let's take a look, of course, their record heading out of this one. Of course, they're taking on Swansea City on the 1st of Feb before an FA Cup match, which, of course, they'll fancy their chances here up against Cambridge at Cambridge, and, of course, to get themselves too close to the 5th round, I think it would be. Then, of course, it is Barnsley at home. Of course, follow that by Birmingham and then West Brom. Very a decent sort of spread of games there for Luton Town to make some traction, or maybe those playoff spots as well. So we can't really rule out Luton Town for the playoffs. It's quite tight, and I'll show you that when, of course, we look at the league table as well. Let's take a look at the opposition then. It is, of course, mighty Blackburn Rovers. Of course, we're not playing the blue-white half, so doubt it anyway. We could, technically, but we might play in the yellows, or we might, which, of course, I've got the back there, or the red and black halves, of course. We do play a football at Ewood Park. You played there already, Luton Town, and you got yourself a little bit of a bargain. Mowbray is our manager. Darrell Lennon's our captain, and our nearest match is, of course, Preston North End. The furthest we'll have to travel was Bournemouth. We've done that already. 15th last time around. 10th was my prediction at the start of the season. But, of course, we're doing a little bit better than that right now, and we're trying to keep it under the radar. And, of course, a sneaky result here at the end of the day would be absolutely the tonic I'm after. So take a look at the resume for Rovers. It's been okay for Rovers. We are getting back to the clean sheet sort of stuff, but it's been kind of hit and miss over the past 5 games. Of course, we come into this on the back of that monster win against Middlesbrough on Monday night. All eyes on it, of course. course. Of course, prior to that, we did lose to Hull. Of course, under new ownership, I'm going to give that to Hull. You know, in all honesty, it was quite a fortunate result for them. I think we could have had a penalty in the whole game. Their first goal was a mess at the back. Granted, legitimate goal. The second goal for them was a bit iffy with, of course, fouls on the keeper, all kinds of stuff. We should have had a couple of penalties as well. So, in all honesty, yes, we were shit. I'm not going to take anything away from that game. We were shit, but I think a draw probably would have been a fair result on that game. So, a bit of a damp squib on that Hull City one. We did get a good result on the road. Last time we were on the road, no, it wasn't. No, we picked up a decent result at Cardiff. No fans in the stands as well. 1-0 win in the end. Of course, we lost to Wigan and we drew against Huddersfield Town. So, it's been a hot and cold sort of kind of Rovers. And again, there is a major caveat in this. We're kind of burying the lead here. No Diaz this weekend, which of course means we're relying on goals from Gallagher. However, he's done all right for himself. He's actually sitting second spot in, of course, my stats there with 6 goals so far. Cashew's got 4. Dolan's got 4. Dolan might be edging a little bit closer. Rothwell will be back as well, who's been a creative influence on this team. As for the discipline, Buckley's got 9 yellows. Of course, another key component. Lenihan, Travis and Van Heck with 7 yellows so far. And as to the Reds, 2 red cards. We have a third, but it's been stricken off because Carter's on his move to Pompey. So Nyambi and Van Heck in the books there. So now, of course, we did see Deo Fuchs coming on there from a cameo against Middlesbrough, which is good. It's great, and of course, it's going to be a fuel for the fire for him to start this game against Luton Town. However, I'm going to keep it as is, really, with Kaminsky between sticks, Lenihan, Wharton, and Van Heck. We got Dunn on the left, Nyambi on the right, Travis, Rothwell comes back in there. Buckley, of course, remains in the hole there. Cadra and Gallagher up top. Of course, Seafolk was an impact sub for me. Great little burst of pace, change of sort of dynamic if we need it. He's going to get his time in the team first, but let's just ease him in a little bit. Let's ease him in, and hopefully once he gets in, you never know, he might remain there. But for now, Nyambi for me stays in there. And I got something in my waters. It could be, you might see this as a challenge now from Zeefolk and maybe step up his game and maybe even get his first ever goal as a professional footballer. Let's take a look at the record then for Rovers heading out of this. It is very ugly. Now this is the meat of the matter. I think it's the most difficult month on the agenda for Rovers. We have difficult games against Swansea, at Swansea. I just watched them get a good result against QPR. Of course, it was a draw in the end, but still they are decent. They are awkward, especially going out of their place. All eyes on it as well. Of course, Sky cameras are there. Then of course we take on Forest as well at Ewood Park. Difficult game there. Stevie Cooper's got them working a treat right now, but of course we'll have Diaz back for hopefully both of those without any injury. Touch wood wherever the wood could be. That's what I'm talking about. Of course, then we have West Brom at their place, Monday Night Football as well on that one. Golly. And then Millwall at Ewood Park, and then of course Sheffield United as well. I honestly don't know. I'm looking at that and I'm scared. I'm actually scared about how many points we can accumulate out of that one. Realistically, you'd like to think 3, 6, 7, 3, 6. You'd probably say 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 or more would be great. 9 or more would be great. But of course, very hard. This is it. This is the meat. And of course, this game here, Luton Town, ain't easy. It's not easy. And of course, I'm on the fence here which way this could go. Very, very tight. But of course, let's take a look at some more stats which could change our mind. Let's take a look at, of course, the possession and key stuff there. Luton Town on the left, Rovers on the right, of course, represented by the orange for Luton. Of course, they are. 39% of all their possessions in the middle third, 31% going forward, 31% in the defensive half. As for Rovers, of course, we keep the ball in the midfield for the majority of the time, 43%, 28% in the defensive, in the attacking third, 29% going at the back there. As for the preferred route of action, of course, Luton Town preferring the right hand side, 43% of all of their possession coming down the right, 35% down the left, 22% down the middle. As for Rovers preferring the right hand side. As the Nyambi effect, of course, 36% down the left and 24% down the middle. As for, of course, shot grid, 52% of all of Luton Town's shots are in the 18-yard box, 14% in that scrappy W area. That's quite a high percentage when you look back at all of the other numbers, and just 34 long-range bad boys. Rovers, though, 57% of all of our shots in the 18-yard box, 8% in that scrappy W area, and 35% outside the box. Bradley Dacarino is edging closer. That 6-yard box is his domain, and hopefully when he does come back, we'll see more of that, and those numbers increase a little bit, of course. But I don't think he'll be involved in this game. I think he needs 2 or 3 more outings for the under-23s before we even get there. A full 90 needs to be done as well. As for shot grid, 70% of all of Luton Town's shots are down the middle, 80% down the left, 12% down the right. Rovers again preferring the left-hand side, 21% of all that. That's when Diaz usually cuts in on that side. 64% down the middle, 35% down the right. Of course, let's take a look at some of the key figures then heading into this game. Now, this is the form book a little bit. Of course, the home form for Luton Town on the left-hand side, Rovers away form. Rovers just 1 win in 3 on the road. However, if you open it up a little bit, just 2 defeats in the past 6 games. Meanwhile, Luton Town at home, unbeaten the last 4 games, picked up 3 wins and a draw to boot. The last home defeat was against Cardiff. They also lost against Stoke as well. This is a winnable game, but it's also a very, very losable game because they've picked up a decent result against Fulham. Of course, they beat Bournemouth as well, and they could have had more goals in that game against Bournemouth. They were a little bit hard done by, and of course, Bristol City as well. Let's take a look at the recent record then. Overall, then 6 times they played each other since 2007. 2 wins apiece and 2 draws. It is fine margins right down the middle. Of course, Luton Town just 1 defeat in the past 6 games, 75% form. Rovers just 2 wins in the past 5, 58% form. It's all there in black and white. Our biggest win over Luton Town was a 4-0 win. The biggest win over us was a 3-2 win. In fact, they've scored 8 goals to our 11 over the course of those 6 matches, which works out around about 1.83 goals a game ratio for Rovers compared to the 1.33 goals a game ratio for Luton Town. Of course, these are the last 3 at Kenilworth Road, and it's 1-1, lost 1, drew 1. Our last win, though, was all the way back in 2007. It's been a while with the likes of Derbyshire, McCarthy, MGP on the books there. Of course, last time around we did pick up a draw. It was a 1-1 draw. Of course, that was a Gallagher on the score sheet as well. He actually does like to score here at Kenilworth Road. He's scored back-to-back games against Luton Town, so maybe that'll be food for thought as well. And as you can see there, the thriller and Manila 3-2 win against them, 2 own goals as well. So I'm hoping Rovers have learned their lesson from Luton Town. We do need a win. We haven't won in a long time, so hopefully we can do that again. We have beaten them though. In fact, the last 3 matches were unbeaten against them, picking up 1 win and a couple of draws. Of course, our one and only win was the 1-0 win over Luton Town in, of course, Ewood Park. Around about this time last season, actually, with Adam Armstrong on the score sheet. So, yeah. Kicking off forward then, let's take a look at the other stats and figures then. Of course, Rovers played 28 games so far. Luton Town just to 26, got some games in hand to make some strides up that table. Of course, Rovers on average pick up 2 goals a game compared to the 1 goal a game for Luton Town. We also pick up around about 11 shots per game as well as Luton Town. Of course, they pick up around about 5 corners per match, 4 for us. They foul more often than we do. We're better in the air and, of course, better with the passing on the ground. They're, of course, better with possession. 44% for them, 42% for us. Maybe it's a similar kind of styles here, which might not work. It might cancel each other out in the end. Let's take a look at, of course, their home versus our away. Of course, at home at Kenilworth Road, they average around about 2 goals a game, which, of course, on average, picking up around about 12 shots a match as well, compared to our 9. Of course, we pick up more cards on the road than they do at home. Also, they pick up more fouls away. And again, once again, we're better in the air, they're better on the ground. And of course, the pass success rate is even keel with their home and our away sort of stats then. Coming at you though, what else have we got? The type of goals, I think, coming at you right here, right now. Yes, that's right. Rovers scored 45 goals so far this season. Luton Town have got 38. That's quite a good number considering, you wouldn't expect that. No disrespect for Luton Town, but you wouldn't expect that from them. They scored 23 through open play, 10 set pieces. That's a high figure, double digits of set pieces. So that's a major area. Watch for the gangly fellas for the corners, the free kicks. That could be a major strategy for them this weekend as well. So Mowbray, best be on your best behaviour for that one. 2 penalties as well. Scored 3 own goals as well. They benefited on 3 OGs. As for Rovers, 29 of our 45 through open play, 7 set pieces, 4 counter-attacks, 4 penalties and 1 OG. We got a conversion rate of 15% compared to their 12. They got around about 11.3 shots per game compared to our 10.7. That's, of course, across the board. Let's take a look at the goals conceded. And they have conceded 2 more than we have over the course of time, and they actually played 2 games less, so that's good stuff for us to feel off. They've got a conversion rate of 11%, 9% for Rovers, which of course the lower is the better in that regard. So 32 goals, 19 through open play, 8 set pieces, so they've been a bit weak at set pieces as well, so maybe Rovers can galvanise on that. The 3 through our counter-attacks, 1 penalty and 1 OG. Rovers, of course, conceded 23 of our goals through open play, 5 set pieces, 1 counter-attack and 1 goal. Remember, 7 of those goals came from bloody Fulham, so let's do the math. What are we expecting from this game? Well, here we go then. Luton's strengths, finishing scoring chances, creating scoring chances and aerial duels, defending against set pieces and stealing the ball from the opposition. However, their weaknesses, keeping the ball from keeping possession of the ball, avoiding offside, their style of play, long balls, crosses often, attacking down the right hand side, playing wide, taking a lot of shots, but they do like to mix up their first 11 a little bit. As for Rovers, our strengths, scoring chances, counter attacks, long shot opportunities, creating chances through individual skill, creating chances through balls, creating scoring chances as well. Aerial duels, stealing the ball from the the opposition. Meanwhile, our weaknesses: avoiding the offside area, avoiding fouling and dangerous areas, defending against set pieces down the wings, defending against long shots, defending against skillful players, keeping possession of the ball. Our style of play is attacking down the right, long shots, taking a lot of shots, aggressive, playing in their own half, consistent first 11, and we do like the opponents to play aggressively against us. The forecast: Luton will steal the ball from the opposition and Blackburn Rovers will steal the ball from the opposition often. So it's kind of cancel each other out a little bit there, doesn't it? It does smell like a stinky ass straw if you look at all the data combined. Let's take a look at, of course, the journey so far for Rovers. It has been good. We currently reside ourselves in second spot, and of course, technically on merit, even though Bournemouth have a game in hand, and if they do win that, they'll be level on points. They do have a better goal difference than us, so technically we will be in third. So let's bear that in mind. Of course, moving forward, we do need to beat Bournemouth whenever that game comes around. If basically if we win out and Bournemouth, if we win out, we get promoted. That's it. Simple as that. Of course, because QPR played one of their games in hand, and of course they have a game in hand still. But again, that win would not move them above us. It's a long way to go. It's incredibly long way to go. I do not believe it yet. I don't think so. When you look at it, we're a good nearly to a 3/4 of the season so far. We've still got a lot of massive games, and including that month of February, which does look disgusting for Rovers. As for Luton, so steady progress for them, sitting in 10th spot right now, but again within touching distance, or within striking distance anyway, of making a push into the top 6. Now this is where it does get fruity for Luton Town. They are the third best formed side at the moment. Of course, level on points with Rovers, of course, with 13 points, level possible 18. We've got identical goal difference as well, scoring with +5 as well. Coming at you. Let's take a look at the home form then. Luton Town's home form is a little bit wobbly, still 10th spot, but they do come into this in pretty good shape with back-to-back wins for them. Rovers, of course, top of the top billings for home form. Of course, we'll look at that again in the next match. Of course, I think it's I don't know who our next match is. Of course, I'm only looking at this game and this game alone. Of course, the away game though, away form, Rovers are third in there. Luton Town are actually in 15th, so they're pretty shit on the way. But that's of course not where we're at. We're at Kenilworth Road, of course, where they are pretty decent at the moment. So Rovers good away form, Luton Town pretty decent as well. But of course, we do come into this on the back of a defeat against Hull City last time around. Let's take a look at some of the stats and figures then, shall we? Of course, the best possession-based side at the moment is Swansea, 62% of possession for them. Fulham, of course, second. Sheffield United, Bournemouth, and QPR make up the Power 5. As for the most aggressive, that's Rovers, 69 yellows, 3 reds. Middlesbrough, Stoke, West Brom, and Bournemouth make up the Power 5. As for, of course, the aerial duel, Stoke lead the charge on that one. Cardiff and Millwall, Rovers, of course, in 4th spot, and then Luton Town not far behind. Shots per game, of course, West Brom lead the charge on that, 16.4 for them. Fulham for that one. Then West Brom, Coventry, Sheffield United, and then QPR. Pass accuracy, Swansea again lead the charge on that one. Fulham, Sheffield United, Bournemouth, and QPR. Let's take a look at what's going on this weekend. Of course, what we're looking at, what we're hoping for. Huddersfield against Stoke, basically I'd like a draw on that one. I think if I can cherry pick my results. Hull City against Swansea, I would love a Hull City win on that one. QPR against Reading, I love an away day win there. Barnsley, they need to get their shit together. Hopefully they can beat Bournemouth as well. Middlesbrough against Coventry, wouldn't mind a Coventry win myself. Millwall against West Brom, would love a Millwall win as well. Luton Town against Rovers, of course we'd like an away day win there. Yes, we do, and that is the game of the day. Don't forget, Kenilworth Road. We'll have a watch along, and we'll be right here. So make sure you smash your subscribe, smash your thumb. Preston against Bristol City, don't give a shit. Fulham against Blackpool, love a Blackpool win on that one. Peterborough against Sheffield United, love a Peterborough win on that one. Derby against Birmingham, don't give a shit. And Cardiff against Forest, I'd love a Cardiff win on that one. But of course, none of that's going to happen. But just the realistic thing is we just got to get a result here at Luton Town, which is it's achievable, but it's also not achievable because they are a difficult beast. As you can see, they're a 10th spot and a win for them this week. They could go up to 9th. Rovers will be at least third at the end of this, hopefully. But hopefully we can maintain a top 2 spot. Basically, if we win, of course, we can move it to 55 points, and hopefully Fulham have a little bit of a shitter, shit the bed a little bit, and then, of course, we'll just be a couple of points off of them at the top bins. Goodness gracious me, would you Adam and Eve it? Of course, let's take a look at the goal scoring stats. Mitrovic has run away with it, 27 goals so far. Diaz has hit a blank, but of course he's not been here at the last game, and he ain't going to be here this game. So he's got 20. Solanke's up there in 3rd. Adebayo's up there in 6th. Look at that, with 11 goals in the league. As for the assists, Swift leads the charge on that one, 11 for him. Wilson, Giles, Thomas, and Robinson lead the charge. As well, that's of course the most of the matter. But what about my prediction on this one? It is hard. It is hard to go against my boys on this one, and I can't go against some old boys on this one. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. It's going to be narrow. It could be just a similar case of what happened on Monday night, really, with just 1 goal separate the 2 sides. So I'm going to back my boys. Believe it or not, with just a 1-0 win for Blackburn Rovers. That's it, my friends. That is it. I've gone all out on this one. Luton Town, of course, up against Blackburn Rovers, Kenilworth Road. It'll be a tense old game from kick-off all the way to the final whistle. But of course, you can join me here with the watch along. But until then, guys, smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe. Check out the links down below, of course. I'm on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course Patreon. But until then, boys, we're done right here. Oh yeah.